Welcome to another episode of Behind the Studs, your home improvement and remodeling podcast, where the two most entertaining guys discuss the do's and don'ts in home construction and in the remodeling industry. Remember that you can nail it, paint it, or just tune into the show. How about that? Here are your hosts, Colin Shaw and Jimmy Driscoll.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Behind the Studs. Hello, Mr. Jimmy.
Hello, Mr. Colin.
Yeah,
Mr.
you're still the same guy that you've been doing this with for the last couple of years.
I didn't have I just know I'm going to call you Mr. C or Mr. Colin or whatever.
Oh, Mr. C, I like that.
All right, listen, I got to tell you this really quick.
Okay.
Because the people are going to want to know. I have another Bob McDonough story.
Oh, no.
Bobby.
Oh, jeez.
Bobby's
poor guy.
So Bobby McDonough, who we've had on the show, my neighbor, who's he's just a whimsical, clumsy guy with his lawnmower. Well, guess what?
Yep.
He bought it. Here we go. He bought
no.
a power generator.
Okay.
And just in time, just before the storm, got it all set up. And a tree came down, so I had to take him get gas. Got it all gassed up. I go back to the house. I'm making breakfast. I hear a knock on the door, and there's Bobby. He's like, "Hey, you got any 10W40 oil?" And I'm like, "Dude, it's a brand new generator.
Yeah.
Why do you need oil?" He goes, "Well, typical story you're gonna put on the freaking show." I said, "What happened?" He goes, "Well, I had the generator running and I decided to check the oil."
Oh,
he took the cap up.
Oh,
freaking oil goes shooting across.
Oh,
it goes
man.
shooting across the freaking room.
Wow.
It's the side of his house. And I'm like, "Bobby, only you." I goes, I know. And I said, "Bobby, you never do that again, will you?"
Yeah.
Right? So anyway, I had some 10.40. He had some.
Nice.
So anyway, he goes back and goes, "Jimmy, I got a great idea." He goes, "I'm going to have my own podcast, and it's going to be about do-it-yourselfers, what not to do." And I'm going to, because here it is. The name of the show is Behind the Stugats.
Nice.
Oh, my God. I said, "Bobby, I'm using it today when I see everybody."
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So,
well, Bobby, you never failed to disappoint.
That's right.
So,
at least you're consistent, my brother.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, hey, listen, we got some guests with us this
I know.
week.
Thank God.
Yes. People get tired of listening to just you and me. So
I know,
it's always
right?
good to have
Jabba
somebody else
wabba.
on here. Right.
I got you.
So we want to welcome Rachel and Hal Kench, and they're from LI Glampers. Hey, guys, how are you?
Hi, Glang.
Hey, we're great. How are
how's
you?
it going? How are you guys?
We're doing
awesome.
well. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us this week. We appreciate that.
Did you
Thanks
get hit
for
with the
having
storm
us.
at all?
Yeah, you guys must have gotten hit with the storm, right?
We got a lot of trees down in the yard. Yeah, a lot of people
Yeah.
lost power. The a big tree just missed our 45-foot toy haul, like our own personal camper.
Oh,
which
wow.
is insured very well. So I'm not sure if I would have been happier if the tree would have hit it.
Yeah, I get you.
Well, we're out of power all around except for right here, I think.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
the epicenter. Everything is out.
Yeah, my
Well,
house is out.
The way to make sure that never happens is have 5 generators in your garage like I do, and you'll never lose power again.
There you go. Yep. I remember
idea.
back with the last hurricane that we got, so many people were out there buying generators, and all these guys were just so busy, couldn't keep up getting them all generators. And then it was like 3 or 4 years later, and they're like, "Yep, still haven't used it." So
Still
a
has
lot
the
of
same gas in it.
people
It's never
like
going to start
Yep.
again.
Yep, exactly. Well, I was happy to have one at my house. So
Yeah, me too.
yeah,
Yep.
it's a nice thing to have.
Yep.
Sure.
So tell us a little bit about you guys. Where are you guys located?
We're down on the South Shore of Long Island, out by the fancy Hamptons. It's called
Nice.
Center Mauritius. Most of our business is based in the Hamptons.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Yeah. Most of the campers that we rent go right onto the beach in Southampton. So that's primarily where we work. We do a couple of other beaches out here, but that's like the big one. It's called Shinnecock East.
Okay.
It's right on the Atlantic Ocean. So you literally pull the camper right onto the sand and wake up in the morning and the ocean is like, well, yesterday the ocean was about 10 feet away, which wasn't so good.
Right,
But
right,
normally it's maybe more like 100 feet or 50 feet away.
Okay.
So it's like real beach living, beachfront property. It's amazing. It's beautiful.
Without the $10 million price tag.
I got you.
That's
Yeah.
great. So
yeah.
let's-
I've never have you ever seen a camper like on the beach?
Never.
I've never seen it. I guess we don't do it around here.
I never
But
had
yeah,
until
you
I
guys
moved here. Again, like I'm
Really?
from state, we don't do that. We
Okay.
camp in the woods. We came down here and we did a day out on the beach when we were dating, and I saw
Yeah.
all these campers lined up, and I thought, oh, I need to get a camper.
Right. What a great spot to just
I
be able to
never-
put it in.
You know what? Nope, never heard of that one.
Now, do they give you a certain amount of footage that you're allowed to
there's
put the
little
camper
posts in
into?
the
or-
ground. I think what are they,
Okay.
like You got like 50 feet by
50 feet wide by
100 or
however
whatever.
deep the beach is at that point.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You could
So
also
usually a
just
lot
take
of
your
campers.
truck out for the day if you didn't want to camp. That's called like day
Oh.
tripping. So you have to air your tires down, and you could just like go out there and hang out with your beach chairs and your truck, and like, so a lot of people do that. I think that's how you started.
Yeah, and a lot of people have the truck camper, like the camper in the back of the pickup truck.
Mhm.
So they can go out for the day without a reservation. They can kind of like be a squatter until someone tells them to leave. So that's
nice.
if
That
I
is
was going to
nice.
do it all over again, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
It's nice. And the fishing out there is great too. So people like to go out there and
Oh.
camp and fish all day, and the kids surf and swim. It's
Yeah.
amazing. It's beautiful.
It's-
Bonfires up and down the beach all night. I
It's
mean,
the cheapest
really
beach house
great.
you're ever going to find, or the only one that we could ever afford.
Yeah.
Right. I hear you.
So you basically make the trailers. You make like a beach house camper. Is that what you do? Or
Right.
For-
So we usually buy old, kind of beat up units because again, like if you buy a brand new one, there's companies out there that buy brand new ones, and when I see that, I just think like, all right, well, you're not making any money on this thing for like 3 years. You're gonna have to pay this thing off.
Right.
So we buy the old ones, and with Rachel's vision and my skills at looking up how to do things on YouTube, we're actually able to fix them up and make them look semi-decent, and they all get a theme. I'm a shop teacher by trade, but they don't teach you how to revamp campers in industrial arts class.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
that's a trait in itself.
Yeah.
That husband and wife can work on a camper together.
Yeah.
With her vision, and he's the man you're the mule to get it done.
Yeah.
And she can say,
Listen, the mule duties are 50-50. Rachel's,
Oh, thank you.
you're the
Isn't
most
that nice?
beautiful mule I've ever seen.
Oh,
Yeah.
She's a rough
Wow, look at that.
I would definitely take a lot more time off and not do work, but I can't with her because she's out there doing all the work, and I can't let her just watch it.
and usually we have a lot of fun doing it.
We do.
Usually.
Yeah. Yeah.
We work together. It's funny because some of our friends are like, I can't believe you guys work together, and then you go away on trips together.
And now
It's
you're
like-
running a business together because we teach together too. We're both teachers, and we commute to work together, and people are like,
Oh, really? Okay.
they're like, that's crazy. How do you do that? And I'm always like, I don't know. That's why I married him, because I like to be with him.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you get
Yeah,
to
strange,
do
isn't
this
it?
all day. Come on.
Yeah.
you know,
we like being with
that's
our wives,
wonderful.
right?
Yeah, but dude, I mean, all right.
That wasn't emphatic.
I love her. I love her dearly. But listen, okay, a week in a camper together, okay, right? But going across country, I don't know. I mean, we need our space. I'm so glad that you guys get along so well, and you guys can do that and everything else. I get along with mine really, really good too. Not a problem. But I'm just like, wow. I mean, I think you guys are blessed, to be honest with you, because a lot of people that I know, excluding Colin and myself, there's just guys who are you kidding me? There's no way. No.
Listen, a couple of cocktails always helps.
Yeah.
There you go. Now you're talking my language.
But it is fantastic though that you guys can do that.
Yeah.
And you guys bounce off of each other and get that done. That truly is a gift. So my hats off to you both.
And you guys are teachers, so how did this last semester go for you, huh?
Oh, good Lord.
Oh,
What a
I don't know.
nightmare.
It was like the Twilight Zone. I'm
Yeah,
not sure what was real, what was not.
Yeah.
My wife's a
Everything-
teacher, so
Probably where you guys are too. I mean, I get it. We were trying to throw plans together at the last minute, and it was like day-to-day uncertainty. And are we going back in 2 weeks? Are we staying home? And then it's like, oh, we're staying home until May, and we're staying home. And I mean, we don't know if we're going back now in September.
Right.
I mean, my personal feeling is that this should have been ironed out months ago. I don't understand why we're scrambling now in August to figure out what we're supposed to do in 3 weeks. It's like,
yeah.
yeah, and I think it's stressful for a lot of parents, and I mean,
Sure.
maybe for the kids, a little bit for the kids. Some kids don't want to go back anyway, so they don't probably care. But
Right.
it's the uncertainty bothers me. Like, that's not my personality. I just want to know what we're doing. Just tell me what we're doing so we can start planning,
Right.
And we haven't heard yet in New York. We're waiting for the state to make a decision. So it's supposed to be this week.
Yeah, I mean, we're in Connecticut, and they've kind of released a little program that they want to do, but it's more like a hybrid type thing, and it's like, some for kindergarten it's different than first grade, than for the third graders, and it's just like, you just kind of need like a spreadsheet just to lay it all out.
Again, all that should have been
absorb
ironed out
it.
so long ago.
Right.
I don't know why everyone's waiting. I don't know.
Can you homeschool in a camper? I mean, if it gets to that point,
you could listen.
I mean?
There's people out there that do it. They have other websites and everything else to do it. But
Yeah.
the only drawback to homeschooling your kids is you're with your kids all day.
Right. Yes.
I can be with my
Now-
wife.
Yeah.
Each
With my
other,
kids.
are a little bit of a, sometimes.
One of my fellow teachers in the shop who just retired, he said to me one year, he said, listen, this job is the best job in the world. The only problem with this job is there's kids involved.
Nice.
So tell me, since you guys, it's the meeting of the minds, and you guys work well together. How do you renovate a camper? How do you do it? Do you strip it all out and start from ground zero, or do you see a camper, you open it up and go, oh, I see it like this. I see hardwood. I see marble. Wow.
I feel like, first of all, it depends on how bad a shape it's in, right? Some of them, like the one we just did, we had to rip the entire floor up. Like it was rotted, wet, disgusting. Like there was a lot of water damage.
Yeah.
Some of them we get, and it's really just like cosmetic fixes.
Okay.
In terms of the themes, the one we just did, Satine, we actually had a little socially distanced family party here, like 10 people. And we were, drinking.
Yeah.
And I said to everyone in the family, we'll go around the back deck and everyone all can have an idea. And whatever one we all decide is the best is what we're going to do.
That's
and my
a great
sister
idea.
came up with, she's like, how about like a Paris theme? How about like the Moulin Rouge and like all black and red and silver and like chandeliers, like over the top crazy. So she won. Another time we had a contest. We had clients like vote on Instagram for different themes. And so one of our clients picked the hippie one, the Groovy Susie.
I've seen that one. Yep. Very cool.
Sarabi, who is the African safari, we were in Africa with our kids, again, having cocktails. And I was like, oh, when we get home, we should totally make it like a zebra camper and have it all like with pictures from our safari in it. So I don't know. I guess creativity and beer.
Yeah, well, it all starts with finding out, like Rachel touched on already, what kind of shape it's in. So anybody that's going to buy a camper, I always tell them, like, don't get burned like I have. Like I'm more than happy to tell people how to get a good camper, even clients that rent them because they want to rent one now to see if they want to buy one later.
Yeah.
So I say, listen, get up on the roof first thing and we'll walk every square inch of the roof, because if the roof is bad, which usually that's the first thing to go. Yeah. They get a small hole in the roof. Now the roof gets wet. It gets soggy. It's just like OSB up there. So once that stuff gets wet, it's ridiculous. Okay. If the roof is wet, forget it. Walk away. Yeah. Because now if the roof's wet, it traveled down the wall. The floor is going to be soft.
Mold.
And then you just get into these,
you get the black mold everywhere. It's disgusting.
Our latest one we got for free. And again, it was well worth it because we got it for free. But let me tell you, to take a floor out of one of these things, and these ultralight units have no floor joists. It's just 2-inch foam sandwiched between 1/4-inch plywood. So there's some creative engineering going on when I'm trying to rebuild the floor in these things. Wow. So water damage is the main thing. And then, then you just go with whatever you want. We've always said, like, hey, I would love to get one that's total junk so we can like just rip it down to nothing and create our own from the bottom up. We call it our green machine. We want to make like no fridge. It's just kind of like a big Yeti
all
cooler. Solar water. And every time we get one that I think is going to be that one, I'm like, but if I just do this, we can
flip it for
we can have this on the market in 4 weeks, making money.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Buy something like maybe just the trailer.
Yeah, like kind of like a tiny house.
And then start
right.
That would be amazing. We could do that.
Can you just like you bought a piece of crap. Basically, it was going to be junked. You've got the frame, you've got the metal framing, and you've got the wiring. May need a little wiring to do on it. You could build something off of that. You can make something beautiful. But that's gonna be very expensive though, isn't it? All the material that you're gonna need.
That stuff adds up. I mean, these the fridge alone. We bought our second unit for $1,500. It needed a ton of work.
We were so excited.
And the guy said, "Oh, it had like a dorm fridge in it, like an electric fridge." But 99% of our clients are camping on the beach where there's no electricity, so you need the propane fridge. So I thought, oh, Gary, no problem. I'll grab a propane fridge and throw it in. Well, let me tell you what. Propane fridges are like $1,800.
Yeah,
so
they
I
are.
bought this $1,500 camper, and then I had to buy an $1,800 fridge to put in it. So that's when I learned about fridges.
Wow.
Still had to renovate it. So I was like, this camper is so cheap. We're gonna make so much money off it. And within 2 months, we were already like, I don't even know, $4,000. Like, oh no.
How long does it take you to renovate a camper? Let's say you brought it right down to the bare bones, the metal framing, studs if there's any. I don't even know how they're framed out.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Some of them are metal studs. A lot of them, the older ones, are wood though.
A lot, yeah.
We've yet to rip one completely down like that. But our quickest flip so far was like 28 days.
I think 28 days.
And we were hauling. Wow. We were working every day after work.
Yeah, and that was before COVID, so we were both still teaching, like actually, in a classroom full time.
Right.
So we would literally come home from work at like 3, feed the kids, or maybe we didn't feed the kids, I'm not sure. And we would be out there until like midnight. And then have to get up at 5 and go teach. There's a lot of movie days that month, I think.
Well, because what happened, someone called us and they needed a camper and we didn't have one to offer except the one we were working on. So, of course, I took a deposit and said, okay, yeah, we'll have it ready for that date. And then it turned into, okay, we got to hustle.
And that was Sarabi. That was the zebra one. So I wanted to just do the exterior all white and then just buy some zebra stickers or tape or something and just kind of do like a zebra border. But Hal Kench, saw the what is it? The Ted Nugent.
I had the vision. I saw Ted Nugent's Bronco painted like a zebra.
And he shows me a picture. He's like, "We're gonna do this." I said, "We're gonna do this." I'm like, "When?" Oh, we had a projector. We were out there with stripes on the projector, really late at night with mosquitoes and painting it, and
But now she's people love it.
She is. She's our coolest camper. She's super cool to look at. But oh my goodness, that was not fun.
Yeah, wow.
I was just going to ask you, where did you get the print for that? And you just answered the question. You painted it. It.
Yeah, we painted it. I think we found like an image on Google or something and screen captured it and then, did a projector in the yard late at night and put it up and traced it all out with a pencil and then came out and painted it the next day. It was horrible. It was one of the worst experiences of my life.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
Is the exterior of the campers mostly fiberglass or are they sheet metal?
Either. There's both. There's if they're flat, they're fiberglass, which is way easier to paint.
I think we only have 2 fiberglass.
Yeah, because then you can just roll the paint on with a roller. But most of ours are the corrugated aluminum.
So it's like wood.
Which you can't roll, and it just takes forever to paint.
Right.
Okay. Interesting. So that's the do's and the don'ts, basically. What are your do's and don'ts about making getting a camper?
Listen, make sure it doesn't have a rotten roof or a rotten floor.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And preferably, never buy one that's winterized because, of course, they say, "Oh, everything worked when I winterized it and put it away." But don't.
And then you get it home, and spring comes, and nothing works. The pipes are leaking.
Yeah,
definitely get up on the roof. I feel like that's the biggest thing. If you get inside and it smells wet and damp, and you see like black mold.
Walk away.
Walls, walk away.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I open up the cabinets. I tap the walls everywhere, even inside the cabinets.
Right. Because sometimes you check the roof, it looks good. And then you go inside and you'll press on a wall somewhere and it'll feel like a sponge. So even though the roof is okay, clearly water's getting in somewhere. So it's that's a big no-no.
What's the material inside the walls of a camper? What is it?
There's a little bit of insulation in there. And it's usually like 2 by 2. I'm not even going to call them furring strips because that would give it too much credit. They're nothing. They're garbage. People always ask, they say, "What's the best camper to buy?" Because we have our own personal is this really fantastic, like 45-foot, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 3 queen bed monster, right? 3 axles. It's huge. Yep. So, and it's a really good one. And people say, "Oh, what's the best one? Is like that the best one?" And I say, listen, they're all garbage. I say they're all held together with staples and glue. And when you bring it home from Ohio, because everyone here goes to Ohio to buy them because it's cheaper. When you get across the Cross Bronx Expressway, which is nothing but potholes, you just have a hammer ready to put all your molding back up when you get home.
All the molding pops out every time you get home. It's all stapled in.
No kidding.
Our biggest mistake is when we were on the road, when we did that like 9,000-mile road trip over the summer. Yeah. We stopped at the factory that built our camper. Yeah. Because I wanted to see like, hey, let me see like where our baby came from, how they make it. Let me tell you what. I'd have felt better if I didn't go, because you go and you see these guys, they run 100 staples in, hoping that 10 of them catch, and they're just they're just pushing them through and churning them. I was like, oh my God, nobody's spending any. There's like no craftsmanship. There's nobody taking pride in this. They don't care.
For the amount of money that it costs too.
Right? I know. I was so heartbroken. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I had the great one.
I'm
All
an
right.
English teacher, so I just thought it was really cool. But like for him as
Yep.
a wood guy, he's like, this is like a hot mess. I was like, no, it's not. There's no machines.
Did you guys ever recondition an Airstream? Have you done
We
those
haven't
yet?
yet. You know what? Those are very heavy units, and weight is
Yeah.
always a concern on the beach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we've never done one yet.
You pulled one on the beach, though.
Yeah, I actually had Jimmy Fallon rents one every year. So I had to tow
cool.
his. I had to tow his on and off the beach last summer and the next summer.
Yeah.
And then
You
he
did okay.
and then he forgot his $500 fishing pole in the back of my truck, which I offered to give back,
nice.
but they passed on it. So I said, "Oh, great, I'll keep it."
Okay. Yeah. Thank
He
you.
fishes with it. I was like, sell it on eBay, dude. But
Yeah.
fishes with it.
But if we ever do get an Airstream, we had a great idea. So all of our glampers, they're girls, they're girl names, and I wanted to call one Eleanor for like L Train, and paint it like subway graffiti, so it looks like an old school New York City subway car with spray paint.
That'd be
Very
super
cool.
So that's the idea, but again, I don't know.
Yeah.
Those are tough
Lots
to
of
come by.
ideas, not a lot of time.
Yeah. So people rent them by the day, week. What is it? Does it
4-day
have to be
minimum on
monthly?
the beach. A lot of people rent them for a week. They can't really go over a week here on Long Island because to keep things fair, if you rent a spot on the beach for 7 days, you have to be off for 7 days. You can't come back.
Right.
So,
Okay.
so generally we have like 4 or 5 days is our average, but some people go the full 7.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
you guys deliver them to the location and
Yeah.
set them up in any way. I mean, anything that you
Yeah.
guys do to get it
It's
prepped?
easy man camping.
Yeah, we drop them, we air down, we fill your water tanks, we set up your generator. I stage the inside, like, so everything looks pretty.
Nice.
We do the outside with your chairs, your outdoor carpet.
We
your
provide
fire
the chairs,
Cool.
the carpet, the fire
Yeah.
pit.
Nice.
You really
Okay.
just like roll up with your
Yeah.
clothes and your food, and you're like
Yeah.
at camp.
And that's it. Yeah.
Wow.
I can imagine what some of these look like at the end of the
They're
week.
really cool.
Oh,
You guys got great pictures
you-
online too. So
Oh,
yeah.
those must be some good horror stories in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
The Pooh Tower.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no. Oh.
It starts like this. Ready? It was a dark, stormy week in Montauk, and 5 dudes rented a camper to go fishing all week.
Uh-huh.
5 dudes,
Yeah.
1 toilet. No
Right.
sewer.
Yeah.
Like just a
Uh,
holding tank.
Uh-huh.
Right.
So
Oh.
I hired one of my buddies, Steve, to go out and pick it up.
So disgusting.
And Steve went out and picked up the camper and brought it back. And I just popped my head in real quick because we keep a security deposit, just to make sure nothing gets trashed. I popped my head in real quick, looked around, and said, okay, everything looks fine. Nothing's busted. And I gave them their security deposit back. Of course, it's all, over the internet. So like I never saw these guys again after I dropped it off. And Rachel went in to clean it a couple days later. And it was, it was definitely a hot summer couple days going on.
Mhm.
And it smelled really bad.
Really bad.
Now, if you forget to put the chemical in the toilet, it will smell bad. So I
Yeah.
just thought, oh, okay, maybe we just forgot to put the chemical in. Well, Rachel lifted up the toilet seat and it was filled to the brim.
Oh, my God.
No, the lid was stuck to the poo that was coming out.
No.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Guys, so they filled the tank and then continued just where it wouldn't flush anymore.
Keep
And then just
going,
continued to fill the bowl.
They pooped on top of each other's poop.
Like you're a 10-foot walk from the woods. Like just go dig a hole, man.
Right.
So,
So,
of course, I call
I-
Steve and I'm like, "Hey, Steve, hell, man, you didn't empty the tank?" He's like,
Yeah.
"Of course I emptied the tank. I always empty the tank. Yeah, I don't just leave." So
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay." So I put my portable tank onto it to dump it into the portable and then take it to the cesspool. I pull the handle, nothing comes out. So he did empty the tank, but these guys just made a log jam up the tube to the toilet.
Ugh.
Come on.
So
What the
So
hell?
here
What
I
are you,
am in there with
blocks
a-
of cheese?
Ugh.
I'm in there with a
A stick.
stick, retching. Just,
Oh yeah.
I got it to go down. We get everything cleaned out. It's the grossest thing in the
It
world.
was so gross.
Mhm.
The next day, I bring it to another client, and they call me like before I even get out of my truck to come home. They're like, "Hey, something's wrong with the toilet. It's clogged." And I'm like, "Oh my God." Like what? So did these guys drop something in the toilet too, or clog it up? So I get out there and that was totally client error. They had actually overflowed the toilet. They didn't when they pulled the lever to flush it, they didn't let the lever go all the way back. so it overflowed the top of the toilet. So that was their fault. But I still have PTSD from that food, the log
I know
jam,
that.
the log jam of 2019.
I got a funny story to tell you. You got a second, Colin?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not going anywhere.
So I lived in Manhattan for 10 years, and my roommate ended up doing production work, and he was doing film work for Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, cool.
And he got to hang out with. This is right after the drummer had a heart attack, and he finally got back on the road. And it was like just before Ozzy was going to basically, I think they retired like last year or something. Well, my roommate Tom, he got to go out with them for a while, like to film a few of their shows. And he's telling me Ozzy Osbourne was hysterical. He says because when they first started out, they were touring in a camper, and they were up near Montana, and it's really cold up there during the winter. And I guess Ozzy would always just rank on the drummer all the time. He always made him do stuff. So anyway, the toilet won't flush because it's frozen.
Oh.
So they get out on the other side of the road. I think it was Giza. I'm not sure which the drummer's name was. I can't remember. So he goes under there, and he's under the camper, and he's tapping on it.
Oh,
and Ozzy's like, what's going on? What's going on? And he comes up from underneath. He goes, we have a negative on the shite. He's like, negative on the shite. Okay. All right. So they drive through Montana and Utah, and they start coming into warmer weather. And now it's kind of like defrosted, right? So Ozzy goes, go back under there and check it. So he goes back under there, and he starts tapping it, and the freaking thing unloads on him. And he says, we have a positive on the shite.
Yeah, when you empty those tanks, man, you want to make sure that hose is on tight, and you want to be able to stand where you can jump quick out of the way.
Right.
It's nasty.
When I pull that lever, man, I'm like a high jumper. I jump out of the way no matter what.
I don't blame you.
I guess that is really the worst. Well, for me, that would be like the worst thing that can really happen on a camper is just the waste. Make you just
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad enough with your own, but now we're dealing with other people's poop.
I mean,
Sure.
yeah.
Family's one thing.
Yeah. But I like campers. I like them a lot. That's interesting to know.
So how do people find you guys for the campers?
Usually it's word of mouth, or they have already seen our campers on the beach. We paint all of our campers like super funky. It's like you know ours when you see them. It's the hippie van. It's the one that looks like Jimmy
zebra,
Buffett was hanging out in it. It's the zebra. Yeah, they're all really cool. So people see them, they come up and they take a picture of the sign that's on the camper. It's a little small
The
sign.
sign has like the website and the Instagram page. So then I guess they just like.
And the slogan, where's your beach house?
Yeah.
Nice. I like that.
So then they'll say, hey, and we like those people because they're already at the beach. So they already know how to drive on the beach. They already can drive on the beach. A lot of times we get calls from people and they're just like, hey, I'm from Connecticut. I want to come camp on that beach I saw the picture of. And it's like, all right, well, if you're not a resident, it's a lot harder. It's not impossible, but it's a lot harder and it involves a lot more work. And then I'll end up spending like 15 minutes explaining what they need to do. And then they'll just be like, it's a lot of work. I'm not going to do it. And I'm like, oh, great. Well, there's like 15 minutes gone now,
Right, exactly.
A four-wheel-drive vehicle, and I have a BMW convertible.
And Miata's all-wheel drive. It's like, all right, well, that's not buddy.
Oh, probably not for you, beach camping.
Yeah. No.
There's a great Marriott out there somewhere. You might want
That's my camping. So
can you have dogs? Can you have dogs on the camper? Can you have dogs, animals, pets?
Not ours, unfortunately. No
pets for the insurance, and then of course, like allergies.
Cleanliness and everything. And
listen. You don't have to tell
dog pees in the camper until they do.
Right, and it's so funny. But mine's a good dog.
Yeah,
mine's such a good dog.
I
don't do that.
I get so furious at the beach, right? So in New York State, probably Connecticut too, we have a leash law. Right? Your dog has to be on a leash out in public. Oh, a lot of people at the beach don't have their dog on a leash, and I'm the first one to be like, excuse me, and they always say that. Oh, but my dog is good. My dog doesn't bite. Okay, my dog does. So now what?
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
nuts.
Yeah. I get all ramped up when I see dogs in stores and stuff that are not service animals. I'm all fine with the service animal, but when people bring their dogs now into, I'll be in a bakery and somebody brings a dog in, I'm like, isn't this a health violation or something? When did this become normal?
And they're not always well behaved. Some of these dogs.
No.
I got a great dog story for you. A couple of years ago, we were camping before we even had the business. We were camping on the beach, and I see this young girl walking with a dog right in front of my camper, and the dog pops a squat and drops a log right in front of my camper.
Yeah.
And she keeps walking. So, so it's like 12, it's like 12:30 in the afternoon. So, I only have like 3 beers in me at this point. And I said, hey, you going to pick that up? And she's like, oh, my dad is stuck down there. And she points, and there's a guy who's stuck because people who don't follow directions get stuck on the beach. If you don't let the air out of your tires, you get stuck.
Yeah.
She says, he's down there. He's stuck. He told me to just bring the dog to the camper. So I said, all right, well, you got to have bags with you. You got to pick up the poo. You can't, just leave it there. So I had a shovel with me at the time. And right about the time I said that last line, I make the connection. She's one of my students.
Oh, no.
So listen, when you see someone, whenever I see a student outside of work or I see another teacher outside of work, unless I know them really well, I know them, but I don't make the connection.
Sure.
So, and she didn't either, because again, you see a teacher outside of school, you don't make the connection because
Like
the teacher lives at school. They don't go anywhere.
Right.
So I think we both made the connection at the same time, and I said, "All right, are we on the same page, Sally?" And she's like, "Yes, Mr. Kench," and walked away. I said, "This one's on me." So I picked it up with my shovel and put it in a bag.
Nice. That's great.
Yeah.
So the website address is, just so people can find you guys.
Oh, it's liglampers.com.
Okay, perfect.
So liglampers.com is pretty easy. And then Instagram is just at liglampers. Same thing.
Okay.
Glamorous camper, right? Glamper.
Right.
Basically, you only do like New York. You only do like in the Hamptons, or will you go all over the state?
We go all over Long Island. We have a few in Nassau County.
We don't go off island though. It's so much wear and tear to get over the bridges and.
Sure.
Absolutely.
No way.
Get it.
And heaven forbid if you ever had a problem with the camper and I'm 6 hours away, like what am I gonna do for
I
you?
was just gonna say.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
Makes a point. That's a very good point.
We don't even service Montauk anymore, which is all the way at the end of Long Island, because again, that can be a 3-hour trip from where we live, depending on traffic.
It's only like 45 miles, but I mean, Hampton's traffic.
Hampton's traffic. You got to go through every Hampton to get there. And we just say, you can't maintain the level of service if you're out there and you have a problem. Like, I don't want you to have a problem. Anywhere else, I can come fix it for you, but I can't help you if you're out there.
Are you working on any new ones now? You got any other ones going on?
We're finishing up Satine right now.
Satine's almost done. She's the Moulin Rouge. We're actually putting, I don't want to say a real windmill, but the exterior it's red and then it's blacked out in a windmill, and we've got the big paddles on it that are going to spin
and
drive. I don't know how that's.
Oh, wow.
No, I got to take it off when we drive. It's not going to spin when we drive. Let's put it on the beach. There's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Anyway, it's very cool. It's going to have some type of a spinny thing on the exterior. And she's going out on Saturday for her first trip. So we've got 2 or 3 more days to get her done. But she's almost done.
It's crunch time.
I can't wait till you guys do mushrooms and then decide to do a camper. I can imagine what's going to happen. It's going to be
funny you say that. When we invented the hippie one, Groovy Susie, that was our joke. Like, everyone who rents it gets 2 hits of acid. Like, acid comes to the camper. But
I say you get 4 hits, but only 2 of them are real. You got to figure it out.
It's a placebo. Oh my God, that sounds.
So where does the passion for camping come from? You guys both have that throughout your lives, or what?
I camped very little growing up.
I grew up beach camping. I grew up here on Long Island, and I grew up with my family beach camping. So I feel like when we started dating, that was like, this is a fun thing to do. Let's go drive on the beach. And the first time we ever did it, he was like, what do you mean drive on the beach? You're going to get stuck. And I was like, no. Like, you air your tires down. Like, it's legit. It's good. And then I think we're just hooked.
Yeah. Well, I had 11 years in the Army. So all my camping was like bad memories. Like, the last thing I wanted to do was camp somewhere. Right. But then when I realized that you could have like a toilet and a microwave, there's like something magical about that when you're camping. So I said, hey, I could probably do this. So then being teachers, we would just go camp all the time. And then we started renting our house out on Airbnb all summer. And then we would live in the camper and just travel from beach to beach and be total bums, which was awesome.
Yeah. And then we started hitting the road. So we've done 48 states in the camper with kids. We just haven't done Alaska, obviously, and Hawaii, which I don't think we can get a camper to Hawaii. So
not yet.
Yeah, I was going to say that one's going to be tough. Yeah.
That'll be an airplane trip. But that was cool. It was cool to be able to do that with the kids and have those experiences. Now they're teenagers;
Absolutely.
they want nothing to do with us. So
Yeah,
Right,
camping is like
exactly.
it's forced family time. Like there's no escape. Like when you're camping with your family, you got them. They can't go anywhere. They might be looking at their phone, but at least they're there in the area.
Yeah. Right.
Do you do a lot of celebrities? Because you mentioned Jimmy Fallon before. Do you have other celebrities that come in and want to rent from you, like Steven Seagal? Would he ever rent from you?
oh, I would like that, but no.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
We've had some that have contacted us, but ironically, they wanted Airstreams.
Oh, really?
Had
Wow.
one too.
We had
So
one, yeah.
I think that's why they wanted them. And I said, well, that's not our camper. I was just his mule for the day, that's not ours.
You know who we had though this season that was pretty cool, and like I didn't know who she was, but then like I looked her up. Very, very sweet woman. Her name is Nicole Raviv, and she's the singer for the New York Islanders. She sings
cool.
the national and Canadian anthems at all of their games. So she was
Cool.
she's like kind of a famous person if you look her up. She's got
Yeah.
a recording contract and I mean an amazing voice, and they were really sweet.
Yeah,
so I
they
felt
were
like she was
and clean. They were so clean.
Oh my God, they were so
Yeah,
clean.
nice.
Really.
Love you, Nicole.
But we have had a couple of local newscasters here go on.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
So I don't want to say their names, but a couple of the ones from News 12 have camped with us.
Which is really neat.
Yeah.
Cool.
And if Steven Seagal calls, you're booked up.
Yeah. Don't take Steven Seagal.
No.
Don't take
Oh, okay,
Steven.
no?
No, I've
no.
got stories. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
He's
no,
worked with Steven Seagal.
I have. Yes.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
Anywho, so as if you're not busy enough with the Glampers and teaching and parenting and everything else, you guys have another little project you're working on. Tell us about that.
Yeah, this is our 10,000 square foot project.
Yeah.
Is that how big that is?
It's 10,000.
I
Yeah,
know.
there's actually a
Is that
ballroom
nuts?
on the third floor.
A ballroom on the
Wow.
third
What are you
floor.
talking about?
Did you guys know that?
I did
didn't know
not.
that's a thing.
Well, yeah. I did see your post on one of them that said, a ballroom on the third floor was actually common, right?
That was a thing back in the day. I have no idea why. Who's going to walk up all those stairs to get to a ball in a
Are you
rectory?
talking about a house or a camper?
Okay, so we got to bring Jimmy up to speed here. So
Yeah.
what is it that you guys have, and where is it? And
Okay,
give us a
so
little bit of brief history of the building and the land and
Gotcha.
everything else.
Oh,
This is really cool.
I
Really
grew
cool.
up- I grew up in Ogdensburg, New York, which is all the way up on the Canadian border. Literally, you can see Canada from the third floor of the
Yes,
house
you
that we
can.
bought. And we would go up there every 2 years about to visit the family. But again, going up there is like going back in time. Like listen, I love my Augsburg people, but like Z Cavaricis haven't hit there yet, but they're on their way.
Nice.
MTV is still playing actually music videos up there. They haven't got the other stuff.
I get it. I get
so-
it. Yeah.
It's like a wormhole. It's like you go through
Right.
a wormhole when you get there.
So whenever we would go up to visit, my kids or Rachel would be like, "Oh, great, we're going back to 1982 for a week," and I'm like, "Oh, "Family, we're gonna go see family. Come on." We're gonna have a good time. So we would go up and we would go ice fishing. We'd go up in the winter all the time and go ice
Oh,
fishing,
good.
Just so fun, by the
So,
way, ice fishing.
it's
Highly
ice,
recommend.
ice drinking, more or less.
Yeah.
So fun.
So no one ever wanted to go up. And then the last year, or whatever it was, a year and a half ago, when we went up, we used to stay at this little B&B, and we were driving down the road, and Rachel saw this house, and she said, "Hey, you stop! I got to look at this house. Like, what's the story with this house?" Now, this house I've probably driven by 1,000 times in my life. I didn't even know it was there. It's a 10,000 square foot high Gothic Victorian mansion. It's made out of stone. It's got mansard style roof.
It's beautiful.
It's
All
a
marble.
huge,
It's
monstrosity. It was, the roof was falling apart. It was real. It needed help. I thought it was abandoned.
I said to him, I want to live there. He said, "You would live here? You would live in Ogdensburg?" I said, "If I can live in that house, I'll live here."
So once she said she would retire up there if we could live in that house, I got on the magic of Facebook and I actually found who owned the house. And
Wow.
6 months later, we owned it.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think he
Now-
was tired of the ghosts and the bats, and he just wanted to get out. And I was like,
Yeah.
well,
So
I-
yeah, we're definitely gonna get into that too because I definitely
So
want to know more
it
about that.
started out as a rectory.
Yep.
There was a Catholic. There was a
The cathedral was
cathedral was
right
next door.
So Ogdensburg is the diocese for St. Lawrence County. It's the the center of the Catholic Church up there. So it was a rectory. It was built in 1884. The cathedral was built in I think 1872, and the rector and the other priests would just live with family and friends in town. They didn't have money, I guess, to build a rectory, but then the church really grew. It got big. The membership got big. The money, I guess, got big. And then they finally built this house. The priest lived there for 76 years. But the cathedral burned down in 1947 and the house was spared. We have some great pictures of our house and then like the cathedral just burning behind it. So they didn't rebuild on that same land because they actually knew they needed a bigger church anyway. So they moved the St. Mary's Cathedral to a different part of town, and then they eventually built a new rectory. So after the priests moved out, the nuns moved in, and it was a convent for I think another 60 years.
Something like that.
From 1960 until, my math is so bad, until 2005?
Yeah.
I think. And then there were 2 other families that lived in it, each for 7 years. So let's hope we last longer than that. And then us. So yeah,
and you
there's
guys.
a lot of history there.
Haunted.
Always haunted.
Oh, it's totally haunted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We even saged it and did, the vinegar salt scrub on all the floors. And
We had Father Morgan came and blessed it, and we showed him a picture of our ghost because we have like a legit, really good picture of the ghost.
Yeah.
And he said right away, he's like, that's Bishop Conroy. He's like, that's the guy who built the house. That's totally him. And I was like, oh. I didn't know if a priest would like admit that there's ghosts because poor Bishop Conroy spent his whole life doing the right thing and woke up back in the house that he lived in his whole life. Like, is this heaven?
Groundhog
Like,
Day.
what?
Yeah.
So if I can help you with this a little bit, because I've had instances where I've worked on houses that were haunted.
Okay.
And I had to reach out to some people who were experts in the field.
Yeah.
So if you start to when you start doing renovations on this home and you're inside, you're doing it, even though you saged and you've done all these wonderful things, you need to speak to them and let them know that you're improving it, you're making it better, just like the way they had it. And believe it or not, it sounds a little quirky, but they listen and a lot of the activity will go down. Your tools won't be missing, things will work. Where before I had a bunch of contractors working on a place and they were working on the place and tools stopped working, TVs were going on and off, and the guys wouldn't go back in the building. I really had to go in there and talk to the freaking ghosts and say, hey, look, we're just trying to improve it, make it better.
You're right.
we had a night where I talked to him once.
The lights were flickering.
And then I talked to him again. So the first night, the light was flickering outside, and my nephew was there doing he's a plumber, electrician doing the work. And he said, hey, there's your ghost. So I looked out and I saw the light flash, and I said, well, it's probably just a loose bulb. So I went out and I tried to tighten it, and no, it was tight. And I said, hey, listen, we're here. We're doing the right thing for you. Without us, this house is going to fall down because the roof was leaking. The chimneys are leaking.
Chimneys are collapsing.
It's not going anywhere but down. I said, we're here to do the right thing. We're going to take care of it. It's going to be great. We're going to bring it back to its glory. And instantly the light stopped flashing, right?
It was so weird.
So then we go back inside. And then like 2 nights later, see, that's why I think we have lots of ghosts. I think I just appeased that guy.
We have so many.
So a couple nights later, I was
salting the floors.
There was so much weird stuff going on in the house, weird bangs and taps and
voices,
and it was the strangest thing in the world. And my son was really freaked out. And I went up to the room where the ghost picture is, and I had a discussion with the ghost then too, but it didn't probably go the way yours went. Mine was more like, hey, listen, I already told you, we're here to fix the house. If you hurt anyone in my family, I'm going to burn it to the ground, and I will pee on the ashes. So I was like, no, you can't. No. So Rachel's like, you can't engage them. That gives them power. I was like, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
But you know what? Now we got a new roof on. We got new soffits. We got new fascia. I got a mason there right now doing the chimneys as we speak. So now if they don't realize we're there for the good, we're the good guys finally, then I don't know what.
And listen, I can deal with the ghosts. It's the bats. The bats are the most. Have you ever lived in a house with bats?
Yeah, but you got to wait till after August once they've been breeding and they've had their babies because they're protected. And then you can get them out. There's not a trap, but when you find out where they're going out, the exterminator puts a funnel in or a trap.
Yeah, one way valve.
One way out. They go out. They can't get back in. Yeah.
Well, the problem we had, the soffits were wide open, so these things, God knows where they were coming and going. They had their choice. It's so many places come in.
Yep.
So now that the roof is done, the fascia's done, with the masons getting all these cracks filled in.
The repointing is huge.
Hopefully that'll keep us without bats for now. But
there are spaces in between. So the house is all made out of marble, right? And there are spaces in between
giant
marble
blocks of marble
that he can put
I get my whole arm
in there. So the bats are just going in there and getting super warm. And then, of course, on the second floor, a lot of the molding and plaster is crumbling, and they're just coming in.
Yeah, the last night we were up there, we actually have a room name. We name everything. We name our cars. We name our campers.
So we name our kids.
We name our rooms.
Well,
good.
Yeah.
So the dining room isn't the dining room. It's
Name
called
your
the
ghost.
Cave.
Now you got to name your ghosts. Name your ghosts. Casper, woo woo, whatever.
So the Bat Cave is the dining room now, and it has an art installation hanging on the wall, which is a fishing net, which the man who sold us the house left it. And when I looked at the house, I thought, I didn't see any fishing gear. It's so weird he just left this net behind.
I was like, he doesn't look like a fisherman, but
and,
okay.
And no, that net is there to catch the bats, which we figured out quickly. But we would catch them, we would just throw them out the window. Well, stupid me, like they're going to come right back in wherever they came in the first place.
Yeah, sure.
We're trying to be so nice to the bats. We're like,
so the second to last night we were up there, the last time we were there, I guess.
That was horrible.
Usually we sleep with the bedroom door closed because, waking up with a bat fluttering over your head is just freaky. And because we had been exposed to them in New York State, if you wake up and there's a bat in your room, you have to be treated as if you got exposed to rabies.
I think Connecticut too. I think Connecticut, Massachusetts. I think
correct. Yep.
All four of us had to go in for the rabies shots. The rabies, which for me, day one was 14 shots because it goes by weight. So I had to get 14 shots in different parts of my anatomy to get covered for this.
Wow.
Meanwhile, Rachel got like 2.
I was going to say, she got 2.
Yeah.
You better say 2. You better say 2.
Yeah, thank you.
So the one last night we're up there, the roof guys just finished. They all left. We're sleeping, and the dog's acting a little weird. So I'm like, maybe he's got to go out. Which he doesn't have to do at night ever. So I'm all right,
5 years old.
He's getting old, prostate. Who knows? So I go to bring him out, and
did you just say prostate?
Yeah, dogs have those, right?
I don't know.
I think they have 2.
I don't know. Yeah.
Check it out. I don't know.
So I go to bring him out, and before I even get to the door, Rachel's screaming in the bedroom.
Oh, it was horrible.
So by this point, I realize it's probably a bat. So I go in, and there's 3 bats fluttering around, and if you've never seen a bat, folks, like they're not a graceful, like swooping thing. They're just like a fast, fluttering, freaky looking monstrosity. And
they're so gross.
They end up flying into the kitchen. So I'm there trying to get the dog to go out. I get my net and I scoop one of them and put him in a spackle bucket and threw that outside.
There you go.
But then I freed him because it's illegal to kill him, I think. So I definitely didn't leave him in the bucket.
No, he did not stay in the bucket.
Yeah.
So then I catch the other one and I, escort him to a new place to live. Yeah. And then
the next life.
When I go to catch the third one,
Jesus. Yeah.
I hit the light fixture in the kitchen and smashed one of the globes. So now it's me in my underwear with, smashed glass all over the floor. The dog doesn't know what to do. He's freaking out.
We've got like this big scary pit bull. He's barking like crazy and I'm screaming. I said to Hal, thank God our neighbors know us because they would probably call 911 that there's a major domestic going on right now. The dog, the glass breaking, like, oh my God.
I finally get the third bat and I'm like, hey, where's Huck? Huckleberry, the dog. So we look all through the house. Huck's gone. Nowhere to be found. He's in a stranger in a strange land, right? He doesn't know Ogdensburg. He doesn't know the neighborhoods.
He's a Long Island dog.
He's a city dog.
Right.
So I spend 2 hours driving around looking for this silly dog.
Not me. I went back to bed.
And then I'm like, all right, I guess I got to go to bed. Now it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. And through the magic of Facebook, the next day, like 20 people are out there looking for my poor dog. And the mailman's like, hey, my sister stops the mailman and shows him a picture. And he's like, hey, I saw that dog at 903 Pickering, earlier this morning. So sure enough, that's where he was. We ended up finding the dog.
All because of bats.
Yeah.
Because of bats. Damn. Who would have thought?
Hey, now save the bat guano if it's anywhere, like in the attic and stuff, and you can sprinkle it on your lawn. It makes your lawn really, really green.
Oh, really?
Do you know that? Yeah, it's very high.
But if your lawn's green, then it'll grow, right? I'm going for dead lawn, no mowing.
No, really? You want a dead lawn?
Right, there you go.
All right, well.
Yep.
It'll green up in the fall.
Right,
it snows up there 12 months out of the year anyway. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right, have a stone lawn then. There you go.
Oh, man. All right, well, what do you think? You think we learned everything?
I think so.
Yeah?
I got a bat story.
Yes, I know you do.
Let's hear it.
Will I talk about the barn?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, tell him.
All right, quickly. My friend up in Stony Point, New York, had a barn that they've turned into a theater covered with bats. He heard the story. If you get the bats out, save the bat guano and put it on your lawn. Sprinkle it on your lawn. You'll have the greenest lawn. Well, he found all the guano. He took it and he spread it all over his lawn. And sure enough, he had the most beautiful lawn in the town. The problem was all the bats were sticking to his windows of his house because the male hormones in there and the female hormones in the guano. So all they're trying to mate and they're just stuck on his house. All the bats.
No.
Yeah. He had too much guano on his lawn.
Why did you tell us to do that then?
I said sprinkle. Did you hear? I didn't say he dumped it.
Yeah.
He dumped it. Sprinkle. Sprinkle.
Oh, okay.
A little goes a long way.
When you have an ice cream cone, you sprinkle sprinkles, right? Sprinkle them on there. Don't dump the whole bucket of sprinkles on your ice cream cone.
Gotcha.
Right.
That don't work.
A little definitely goes a long way.
That's right.
Exactly.
Let the record state. Jimmy said
Model for my
sprinkle.
love life.
There you go. Yes.
Right. Well, that was interesting. And so
Absolutely.
You had a ballroom. You also have a ballroom up top at the Rectory. Is that what you have?
We
A
do.
floating, is it a floating ballroom on wheels?
Oh, no, it's not like a ball pit, which would be
Okay.
cool, but no.
Okay.
We also found pocket doors hidden inside the sheetrock. Perfectly intact, gorgeous, like 4-foot by 9-foot pocket doors.
Wow.
I was shocked they didn't remove them. If you're going to sheetrock over me, you think they would remove them. They
Like
left them
sell them
there.
or
All the
something.
hardware.
Yeah,
everything.
right?
Amazing.
No,
No
there's everywhere.
kidding.
I almost
That's kinda
cried
crazy.
when we found them. It was like finding hidden treasure. It was amazing.
You know, my brother-in-law, who is like really into old houses, he looked at the molding and he said, "Hey, I bet you there's pocket doors there because look at the molding doesn't match up in that section." So I said, "All right, well, I had a couple drinks, right?" So I took a hammer out and bashed a hole in the wall, and they were there.
They were
so
there.
the next day, you know, of course, we had a bunch of other stuff we're supposed to be doing. So instead, we spent like 3 days cutting out all the sheetrock and everything else they
No,
put
but
in
that
there.
was
and
like treasure. That
trimming
was the
them
most
out.
amazing
Oh my God,
thing.
yeah.
Sure.
yeah, it's gorgeous. Yeah.
Good thing
Nice.
they were empty and the nuns weren't in there because that would have been your problem.
Oh, but we
Right?
did find a secret room. Did you guys hear about the secret room?
No, tell us.
No. Tell us.
Disturbing. So, there's an extension on the house that was probably added maybe around the turn of the century, and 1900, the last century. And above it, there are 2 dormer windows. So I was always like, there's got to be a room up there. But everyone else said no, it's probably a crawl space. There's no way to get into it from the house, though.
Mhm.
But I'm like, who would make a crawl space and cut holes in all this marble to make windows that you could open and close?
And we bashed holes in the wall in the
In the
in the plaster next to it to see if
Yep.
maybe there's a doorway.
And there was nothing.
So now I just have like 12 holes I have to fix and no doorway.
Yep.
Anyway, so I was convinced there was a room, but we really didn't know. And when we had the roof done in June, we had the big lifts, right? The guys had like these big, big lifts to get up to the top of the tower and all that. And so one night we said, let's get in the lift and we'll go like peek in the window. And it's a full-on room. It's got furniture in it.
Wow.
It's like a 12 by 12 room. It's got a staircase that you can see. Well, the stairs are gone now, right? So they ripped away the stairs
And they
and
put a drop ceiling below it in the
Put
room
a
below,
ceiling
so you
over
can't
the-
see
Oh.
the stairs there ever.
yeah. So we don't know what it was for. We didn't actually open the window and go into it. The window does open because it's like kind of rotted,
Yeah.
But I didn't feel right going into it. It felt like creepy and weird. But there's like a piece of clothing in there. There's a dresser. I mean, it's very dilapidated.
Wow.
It's all kind of caving in.
Yep.
But then we had a bunch of people, like the other old house people that we're friends with on social media.
Yep.
One of them said it could be what was called a disappointment room, which this was in the old days. If you had like a child who was disabled, you would
Okay.
put them in like a disappointment room. Like they would be kind of like, how sad, right?
Yeah, right.
Someone else told us that it could have been, which is sort of apropos for COVID times, almost like a quarantine room. That if somebody had passed in there from some, contagious illness, that sometimes they just wall off houses in Victorian times. Like that's what they did. Like, I guess they didn't have like I don't know. They just shut the whole room off. Like someone died in here, close it off. So we don't know why it was ever closed off. And we're going to open it and we're going to put the staircase back and like do something fun with it. But how cool, right?
Or the nun maternity.
Right.
Oh, that was the other. So one of the doors it's got this little like, it almost looks like you would slide food under it to somebody. I was like, oh my God, is this pregnant mothers that they put up there like to shame them? And like this was
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who knows?
So I
A lot of dark stuff. But you know what? We're going to do something super positive at the house. We got some community stuff we're planning. We've already, we're going to do they used to do a big feast there. I forget what the name of it is. Not San Gennaro, because that's not us, but,
they did a feast for Mary, but we're going to we named the house Clare House after St. Clair.
But we're going to bring it back. We said, listen, we'll host it. We'll run the big feast for the church.
We're going to raise money. They have a big meth problem up there, so I feel like maybe we do an outreach at the house where we help like mothers with children who are maybe trying to get sober or.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll turn it into something good.
Please invite us, because we'll come.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. You guys do whatever you want. If you're brave with bats, just go for it.
No bats by that.
Good.
Yeah.
I have a movie for you guys to see.
Okay.
It relates to it's Karen Black. She's in it.
Is it Burnt Offerings?
You bet your ass it is.
All right. So when we first saw the house, and I said to him, "We have to have that house," he's like, "You're nuts." We drove halfway home. We stopped at like Lake.
Stopped in Lake George.
Lake George, and I made everybody. We all got in bed and we watched Burnt Offerings on like.
No, you did not.
Yes, we did.
You did not.
Like, I feel like mommy's been possessed by this house, and like I have to have it at all costs. It was.
Oh my God! Wow! I have to tell you a really funny story. When I was in college, and I lived in the dorm that I lived in. I lived on the floor with all the football players, and I wasn't playing football, but I was in the theater department, and there was a couple other guys, and the kid who lived across the room from me. He was this little skinny, short little Jew kid, right? A little Jewish kid. And all of a sudden, I hear in the room, "Ah! Oh my God! Ah!" I hear all these big guys screaming, right? And I open the door, and that movie is on, Burnt Offerings. And
so scary.
The kid's name was Ira, and he's in the corner, and he's getting pressed up in the corner by a linebacker who's watching the TV, and he's pushing this kid into the corner, screaming at the TV because it's at the end scene.
Oh,
when
scary.
Oliver Stone goes upstairs.
And
the guys are screaming, and Ira, all you can see is like the side of Ira's face, his eye, and he's panicking. He just wants to breathe. Oh my God, it was hilarious. These big football guys that could just tear your head off.
Yeah,
were like little like.
Well, with that whole movie,
I love that you said that, because that's the movie I thought of the minute I saw that house.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm like that.
I think we went to like a Redbox and got it, or Amazon.
Yeah.
We watched it that night. But
we watched it that night. My boys, they watch like modern movies, right? So they were both kind of like, I said, guys, it's a slow burn. Stay awake. You're gonna, and then they loved it. But it takes a while, like the exposition, But then they were so into it, and they were like, "This is like the scary chauffeur guy with the big teeth."
Yeah.
Oh God, I hate that guy.
I'm thinking, okay, so the dad gives the kid a bloody nose in the pool, and now he's got new shingles. Like, I might make that deal.
Right. You know what my favorite shot is? My favorite camera shot in the whole film. It's at the very end. It's when Oliver Stone goes up the stairs, and he's freaking out because he knows something's wrong, and they do a far shot over her. From the camera angle, is her hand is on the armchair.
Yeah. And
he's in the back. And it's out of focus. Her hand is out of focus a little bit. And he asks about where his wife is. And the hand just, I got goosebumps now.
I know.
Her hand clinches up on the handrail on the chair. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
I got to see that movie again now.
It's a great movie, but like 500 times, you're like, all right, I would just leave now. Now it's time to go.
Right. Well, they're white. That's why they stayed. Yeah.
Plus they got shingles. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't want to come to my house. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my
nice.
God.
Nice.
What a great. That's so great. Well, I have to see.
That.
We'll
We're like the same. I love that you do that movie.
Yeah. So we also working on a show now. We're in pre-production called "It's Behind the Studs on the Road." So we're doing stuff where we look at homes, we do this, we do that. And if you're still into the renovation and you're coming up upon other things, we'd just love to come in and see that, get the history of it.
We're on like a 5-year plan, so we got some time.
Yeah.
Right?
That's fine.
We only have about 6 rooms livable right now, and I think we have 38 total to do. So we've spent a long time going.
Yeah. But it would be cool.
Yeah,
it'd be cool
we'd
to
come
see
up
it.
now.
Yeah.
We'd come up now.
I love that. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
That'd
be so much fun.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
All right, let's do that.
And
I think we're gonna
Burnt Offerings.
Yeah. I think we're gonna have to
take mushrooms.
And take mushrooms.
Right.
Dude. Stay overnight doing mushrooms, watching Burnt Offerings. Dude, you would find me like naked somewhere on top of the roof going,
Jeez.
I need no shingles up here.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah. Oh, it was great talking to you guys.
Yeah,
It was
really nice
awesome.
having you guys on the show. I hope
Yeah,
you
you
enjoyed
guys
it.
Thanks for having us. This is so much fun.
This was so much fun. This is the most socialization we've done since COVID. So yeah.
Right. So there you go. Yeah. Well, join us anytime, really. So we have Rachel and Hal Kench. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Like Glampers. And keep an eye on that rectory over there and see what's going on over there. See how many more ghosts we can find.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Okay.
Guys, thanks a lot. We really appreciate it.
Thank
Jimmy.
you guys so
Thank
much.
you.
Stay well.
Yes, you too. Jimmy, I'll see you next week, man.
Absolutely.
All right. See ya. Bye.
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 Bye.